You all please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance, and I would ask that everybody remain standing. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So I don't forget, I would like to ask for a moment of silence in the wake of the unthinkable tragedy at the Robb Elementary School, Uvalde, Texas. Our hearts and prayers are with the victims and their families in their time of grief. Thank you. Can I get a roll call?
Mr. Watt?
Here.
Mr. Giano?
Here.
Mr. Logan?
Here.
Ms. Smith?
Here.
Supervisor Williams?
Here. Somebody like to audit the bills?
Make a motion to approve abstract number 9 in the dated May 13th, 2022, in the amount of $128,333.03. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I don't believe we have any budget transfers. Sean, you're up.
Okay, first item we have is a letter of resignation from Harry Gonzalez. Mr. Gonzalez was one of our EMTs for the town of Patterson. And this is kind of bad news for us, good news for Mr. Gonzalez. He recently accepted a position as a firefighter EMT in South Carolina. And he says this was becoming a career firefighter was something that he'd been looking to do for many, many years. Mr. Gonzalez says it's been a wonderful experience serving the community that he grew up in and being there for his neighbors during their time of need. So I'll make a motion to approve Mr. Harry Gonzalez's letter of resignation as an EMT for the town of Patterson. So moved, effective June 10th, 2022.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
I'd like to thank Mr. Gonzalez for his service to the town of Patterson.
Yes.
The next item is a letter of resignation from Amy Light, who works in our court. She's a court clerk. She's been with us for about 2 years in the town of Patterson. Her resignation will be effective June 10th, 2022. So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
And lastly, we also have a letter of resignation from Mr. Charles Lowery. And this one is regrettably due to his having some health concerns. And so Mr. Lowery was on our Patterson Veterans Park Advisory Board since the mid 1980s. Oh, prior to 1980.
Yeah,
Wow,
so we've
so
been
over
looking,
40 years.
we've been looking, we haven't found the date yet.
Wow. So over 40 years of service to our community. That is just amazing. And I know Charlie has been a member that has shared a lot of his experience and lots of ideas with the board over the years. So he's certainly made an impact in the town of Patterson and our community. So it's with regrets that I make a motion to approve Mr. Lowery's resignation from the Veterans Park Advisory Board. So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Certainly will be missed.
Absolutely.
Yes.
The next item we have is based off of the unfortunate situation that occurred back in February, where the town of Patterson community lost one of our most treasured members in Miss Beth Howell to a tragic incident that occurred. You know, from that, we had an outpouring from the community of people wanting to do something to acknowledge the impact that Beth has had. And the idea of doing something over at Warren Beach, where she served the community so amazingly, to put potentially a park bench. As people know, the town isn't in a position to accept contributions unless we set up a charitable fund. So this resolution is to set up a charitable reserve fund for the purpose of accepting a donation that will be used in memoriam of Beth Howell. It sets up the procedures that will be used for the contributions, in essence, that the funds are earmarked for that purpose and that purpose alone, that individuals that make a donation receive a receipt for their funds that are donated. Again, that the funds will only be used for the items that have received authorization from the town board for this purpose, and the funds that are received will be funds shall be received only through July, up until July 15th of 2022, unless the time is extended by the town board. So I'll make a motion that we approve the resolution for establishing the charitable fund and ask that it be entered into the record as though read. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Comment.
I'm sorry.
Sure.
Perhaps we could use some of that Chamber of Commerce money we received a few years back.
Well, let's see what we get with donations, because my understanding is that the problem we're gonna have is not having enough money, but having too much.
That's what I was going to say. I think it's going to be coming up with other
Okay.
appropriate
Yeah.
uses.
And we had talked about using that chamber funding maybe for the board one.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's fine.
How are we going to advertise this or put the word out?
Laura, I believe, is going to be taking care of that. She's gonna advertise on the Park District website. Well, let me say this. So we're gonna get the word on the street, but as you know, public officials are prohibited from soliciting donations. So we will notice everybody that we have set up a reserve fund, but we can't actually go out and, ask people for donations.
You know, what would be a really interesting idea, if, I agree with you, Rich. I think that the idea here is a park bench is one project, but I think we're gonna have significant funds in excess of what a park bench costs. I wonder if the idea, since Beth was so instrumental in being a lifeguard at Warren Beach, if we could set up some kind of a, I don't want to say, maybe not a scholarship isn't the right word, but you know how the kids sign up for swim lessons, you have to pay for swim lessons. That might be a really cool thing to put any excess funds towards something like that for the children in Putnam Lake.
Or perhaps, think about it, is paying for the lifeguard certification, maybe?
That we're not gonna be able to do.
No.
That you're not gonna
That's something we
cover
already
under a
heard.
charitable contribution.
Okay.
Right, because that would be offsetting the cost of the town. We can't,
Operating costs.
operating costs,
Mhm.
yeah. Okay,
And this is a fund we can have recurring for as long as we want, right? It's not just a one-time deal.
well, right now it's set up to be through July 15th of 2022.
We want to extend it and do other things, we certainly could.
Yeah, so if we know we were doing some kind of scholarship for swim lessons or something, it could be maybe a recurring thing.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, first on my agenda is a long time coming. We're finally getting to the point where we can extend the sewer lines that we have to pick up the mobile gas station. Their sewer system failed. Was it 2018?
It was 2020, but it was
No.
Christmas, 20, 21, 22.
Maybe
Yeah, it was,
19.
19. It was
Maybe
December of
19.
19, you're right, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the day
Been
of
a long
our
time.
town Christmas party, 19.
Anyway, I was contacted by the DEP. I figured the DEP would just do their own seeker determination, but they had asked me to do lead agency so that the town could do the seeker determination for all of us. So I'd like to make a motion that the town board declare our intent to assume lead agency status in the matter of the extension of the sewer line for Patterson Food Mart. So moved. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, second on my agenda is the amendments to chapter 116. We've been talking about this for better than a year. Today we received some additional comments on what we have been looking at from the town attorney. I think it was more wordsmithing than anything else.
Yeah, just only one item that I had a question on was just whether we wanted to put the fees on one thing in the code or if we want to do it by resolution, just for the additional votes. But other than that, just minor comments on wordsmithing.
Correct. And I would agree with you that we should do it by resolution and put it in the fee schedule. So it's in there. Anybody else have any thoughts?
Oh, sounds good.
All right. There was one other thing that I did add in here that we had talked about. I think it was on Mary's agenda last time. Boat registration. that boats must be registered annually by March 1st or will be removed from Park District property. And it's under 116-8. Anybody have any questions on this?
Like you said, I remember going over the rules for fishing and ice fishing at our work session that we had on this.
You're ready to move on it?
Yep. We've gone through this.
All right. That being said, I'd like to introduce a resolution introducing local law I-2 and providing for a public hearing and notice. Public hearing will be on June 8th, 2022, right here, to amend Chapter 116 of the Patterson Town Code, Putnam Lake Park District. And I would ask that it be entered into the minutes as read. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That is it for me.
Okay, I have a couple of recreation requests from Mr. Machibaro. With the shortage of the supervisor guards, Matt would like to appoint head guards to also serve as supervising guards during the season. So I'd like to make a motion to approve Lucas Hughes, Finton Cassidy, Kaylin Kessman, Stevie Lynn Delanoy, Luke Brady, and Hugh Smith as supervising guards at the rate of $18.63 per hour when they work for the corresponding supervising guard shifts. So it looks like Matt's going to use them when he needs them. So in that time when they're filling that position, they will be paid at the rate of $18.63 per hour. So I'd like to make that motion to appoint them as supervising guard as well as head guard. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Also, Matt is looking to get some CPR training done. The wilderness first aid training is $100 per person. I'd like to make a motion to approve the wilderness first aid training at $100 per person for no more than 5 employees at the cost of $100 per person, and also compensate the employees for their training time. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I recuse myself from the vote.
Yes. Also, Matt would like to have CPR basic life support class at $40 per person. So I'll make a motion to approve 8 employees at the cost of $40 per person for the CPR BLS class, and also compensate the employees for the training time. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Recuse myself as well.
Okay, next item on my agenda is a building department request that going to table for executive session.
If you would like.
Yes, I think it's, sorry. We'll defer that to executive session, at the end of the meeting.
Okay. Peter?
All right, first item I have is the Veterans Memorial Park use policy. So we have a memo here from the town supervisor. I'm just going to read the memo instead of trying to paraphrase it. On February 23rd, 2022, town board amended the policy for the use of the Veterans Memorial Park in recognition of the difficulties and financial challenges in obtaining insurance presented to not-for-profit organizations seeking to use the park pavilion for meetings, activities, and fundraising efforts. The policy was amended as follows. So this is the original amendment we did back in February. A valid unexpired certificate of insurance will be required for at least $1 million of general liability coverage, naming the Patterson Veterans Memorial Park as additional insured for the period of use of the park property and facilities for all individuals except for not-for-profit organizations where no alcohol use is prohibited. I guess there is further discussions with the chair of the Park Advisory Board, looking for some clarification, some verbiage, some language change. So the recommendations from the the chair is a valid unexpired certificate of insurance will be required for at least $1 million of general liability coverage, naming the Patterson Veterans Memorial Park as additional insured for the period of use of the park property and facilities for all individuals and organizations. An exception on the insurance may be made for not-for-profit organizations seeking to use the park for a one-day event for a celebration of the organization or for the education or fundraising purposes, and where no alcohol use is proposed. The exemption from providing insurance shall not include sports organizations wishing to use the park for active recreational sports activities. So I think that kind of clarifies a little bit more and defines the uses of the not-for-profits. So I guess I'd like to make a motion to change, to accept the changes as read. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next, I have an EMS request from Robert Kearns, the EMS administrator. He's endorsing Joseph Nickisher to be hired as an EMT. And on the interview with Joseph, very good candidate. So I'd like to make a motion to hire Joseph Nickisher as an EMT for the town of Patterson EMS at the hourly rate of $19.50 per hour, pending all civil service and background requirements. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That is all I have.
Next, we have Club Court Park, and we have two non-bid procurement requests. And one is for the delivery of mulch to the park. Received, well, actually two bids, one person did not respond. So I'll make a motion that the town board approve the delivery of playground mulch to Club Court Park from Supreme Forest Products at an amount not to exceed $1,430. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The next one is to move the playground mulch that will be delivered to Club Park. The folks at Supreme Forest, they just deliver, they don't spread it around or do anything else. They're consider their job just to deliver. And so we received one quote to distribute the playground mulch. Two other people did not return interest in doing this. So I'll make a motion that the town board approve the company 845 to distribute the playground mulch at an amount not to exceed $1,200. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Other business? Any town board member? Any town board member wish to bring anything up at this time? No?
What is it? I mean,
Announcements, other business.
Yes.
All right, so announcements. You want to start, Peter?
Sure.
I don't think that's.
All right, so we have at the Patterson Rec Center, Little Chefs, June 2022. So Little Chefs continues for another great session. It's a great program. It's been very successful down at the Rec Center. An introduction to baking for boys and girls ages 7 to 11. Each week, a different recipe will be prepared and sampled. Offered Wednesdays from 6 to 7:30 p.m. in the rec room. Please use the side entrance. Class dates are June 1st, 8th, 15th, 22nd, and 29th. Registration fee is $95 for the first child, $85 per sibling, and it's going to be limited to 20 participants. At the bottom, it says recipes may not be suitable for those with food allergies. So it's a great program, very successful. I've actually tasted some of the stuff that they been produced.
Seems like that should culminate with a tasting event that we.
Yeah.
Prizes. I would definitely volunteer for the tasting part. So next up, we have just a reminder about the Patterson Rec Summer Camp Program. If you haven't already signed up for Patterson Rec Summer Day Camp Program, you still have a little more time. Standard pricing ends June 10th. Camp offerings include multi-activity camp, basketball camp, flag football, Lego, Fun with Science Kitchen Edition camp, nature adventure camp, and pre-K camp. To visit the Patterson Rec website at www.pattersonny.myrec.com to register. So still some time left to get the kids enrolled in Patterson Rec's summer day camp programs.
Sounds like fun. I wish we stand for adults.
I know.
Am I up?
You're up.
Sure.
Okay, I almost gave half away, I didn't realize, so I saw give a pint, get a pint, so in Stewart Shops is getting together with the American Red Cross at the Town of Patterson Recreation and Parks for a blood drive at 65 Front Street in Patterson, New York. Use the parking lot and sliding glass doors on the left side of the building to access the community room. Thursday, June 2nd, 2022, from 11:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. That's Stewart Shops. If you give a pint, you get a pint. So you will receive a voucher redeemable for one prepackaged pint of ice cream or gelato at any Stewart Shops. For more information and Stewart Shops locations, please visit stewartshops.com. So in addition to this, encouraging to get everyone out there to give some blood, in addition to the ice cream promotion in June, our national office has just put together a program with the studio releasing the new Elvis movie. During the month of June, all donors will be automatically entered for a chance to win a VIP trip to Memphis and Graceland for two. This trip includes round-trip airfare for two to Memphis, a 3-night stay at the guest house at Graceland, and Elvis Entourage VIP tour courtesy of Graceland, a $500 gift card for expenses, and a custom wrapped Gibson Epiphone guitar. Did I say that right? Epiphone guitar? You play the guitar, right?
Me?
Yeah, don't
Not
you?
that I never mentioned.
Oh, I don't know why I thought that.
I think you should just say.
Keyboard.
Well, I do both, but never in public.
You can only donate one pint. You can't do multiple.
So,
Not the same day.
just want to point out that new donors are needed, and your donation, one donor can help save up to 3 lives. So it's very important. So if you can get out there Thursday, June 2nd at the Patterson Recreation Department at 65 Front Street on Thursday, June 2nd, 2022, between 11:30 and 4:30. Got that?
So last, I would like to remind everybody that this is Memorial Day weekend. Probably not that anybody needs to be reminded. The unofficial start to our summer and the official start to our beach season. To let the town board know, we have beach inspections tomorrow. And I'm confident everything is going to go well. We've had a great crew working on it this year. To the public, I would say enjoy your weekend. Please remember that the weekend is truly about the veterans who have served our country, especially those who have lost their lives serving our country. We have 2 ceremonies in the town of Patterson. One begins at 10 o'clock over in Putnam Lake at the intersection of Haviland and Fairfield at the monument. And the second one is this year, we're doing it a little bit differently. We are going to do a parade starting here at Town Hall, marching down Route 311 to the memorial down at the intersection of Maple Avenue. And there we're going to have a little bit more of a formal ceremony than we've had in the past. And I'm very excited about that because we've got some people who have stepped up to volunteer to, help arrange this. And I hope to see all the town board members here at least one of the ceremonies, especially if we're walking. And everybody have a great weekend. With that, I'll open it up to public recognition. If there's any member of the audience here tonight that wishes to be recognized and make any statements or ask any questions, please approach the mic and provide your name and make your comments.
Good evening. George Disbrow from Tammany Hall and representing the library. And as Supervisor Williams just talked about, the summer is about to kick off. So I have a few things to say about our summer programs. Saturday, June 4th, as has been mentioned before by here at the town board meetings, Touch a Truck for Heroes. It's from 10 in the morning until 5 in the evening. It's besides the town, it's being co-sponsored by the Patterson Rotary, Patterson Fire Department, and Cartwright and Daughters. There is music, food, games, a petting zoo. And I'm glad you're all seated. At 1 o'clock, the Clams are coming. They are a rock and roll R&B 60s, 70s, 80s group, and they will be there at 1 o'clock. So that should be exciting. A couple of other things, if you're looking for trips for the summer, the FDR Museum in Hyde Park, we now have passes for that. A family pass is 5 people, which is pretty good. So find those distant relatives and bring them out. Just call the library or stop in to make arrangements for that. Thursday, June 6th at 6:30 in the evening, there's a paint party. There is light bites and, from what I've told, some type of wine tasting. So if you're interested in that type of paint party, there'll be a professional painter there. There is a fee involved. You can go to the website and or call the library. And the last thing for our summer kickoff, on Friday, June 24th at 1 p.m., there is a big kickoff for the kids. It's reading games. It's water themed with a water slide, a dunk tank, sand art, and the obligatory ice cream. It's a good way to get the kids started. At the June meeting, I'll talk a little bit about some of our July program, especially for the younger kids who are not in school, and the type of programs that we have for not only the toddlers, but also our teens as well. And again, thank you for your support for the library.
Thank you, George.
Thanks, George.
George, you're going to be in the dunk tank? In the dunk tank? You did. Something tells me people won't be lining up to dunk you. You're too nice.
All right, I would ask at this time if there's any member of our Zoom audience joining us, if you would unmute and make your comments or ask your questions of the town board.
No questions. Thank you, though.
Thank you.
Motion to go into executive session.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
You assume we only have one.